It's my pleasure now to introduce our next representative in Congress, Zephyr Teachout. Thank you.
Thank you.
No. Thank you. This is the face of power.
Yes.
Thank you to Citizen Action for all your incredible work and for your incredible work in the next 3 days, which is why we're going to win this election. And thank you. I'm so proud to have the Working Families Party line and the Democratic line. And so please get out there and vote.
Reach out for Teachout.
Thank you. I'm a little tired of talking about disaffected voters. Because everybody is affected. I want to talk about affected voters. Are you affected by Social Security?
Yes.
I want to go to Congress to protect and expand Social Security. And my opponent, John Faso, wants to privatize it because he said it would be a boon to Wall Street. Are you affected by our funding for our schools?
Yes.
I want to go to Congress to fight for funding our schools, for special education funding, and for the federal government getting out of high-stakes testing and into supporting public education. And my opponent, John Faso, authored the first public school privatization bill in the Assembly. Are you affected by the quality of your water and your air?
Yes.
FDR said, a nation that poisons its soil poisons itself. We in the Hudson Valley and the Catskills have a special interest in fighting for renewable energy nationally. Because ever since there's been a fracking boom in North Dakota, the big fossil fuel companies don't see our communities as a place people live and breathe and drink the water and fish and want to thrive. They see it as just a place to use as a super highway for fossil fuels. So we keep fighting on the bomb trains, we keep fighting on the Pilgrim Pipeline, we keep fighting against the anchorages. So until we move towards a renewable energy future, and we do have, this is a fight for the future right now that we're in. Until we move towards that, we're going to keep playing whack-a-mole with the fossil fuel industry and their millions of dollars. So I want to go to Congress to fight for solar and ground source heat pumps and water and energy that renews itself instead of energy that poisons us. And I cannot stand the idea of a pipeline lobbyist representing the Hudson Valley. But John Faso is not only pro fracking, but he was a pipeline lobbyist and a lobbyist for payday lenders. So you can feel this year that the house is on fire in our democracy, right? There's incredible amount of anger, incredible amount of frustration. People talk about disaffection. It's really about feeling shut up. People feel shut up. People feel like the door is closed. That politicians aren't listening to them. That they don't have a place in Washington. And that anger, that incredible anger that we're seeing all across this district and all across this country, that's real. And people are right to be angry. But we are going to meet that anger with grassroots power and love and respect and action and a hope for the future. Because when there's a fire on, you can do one of two things. You either run away from it, or you run towards it carrying water to put it out.
Yeah.
So we're going to put it out. I got to tell you about where we are in this race, because the people right here, you can make the difference. You really, really can. It is the closest race in the country. President Obama endorsed last week, and then somebody who meant more to me than anything, Maurice Hinchey, endorsed. Somebody who brought incredible fearlessness and fighting for our economy, fighting for our jobs, fighting for working men and women to Congress. That's the gold standard. That's what I want to aim for. Bernie Sanders a couple days ago said this was the most important congressional race in the country. And it is the reason that there's so many reasons this is so important. There's so many, John Faso has been an assemblyman who voted against equal pay and called Roe versus Wade a black mark on our country. I will go to the wall to fight for a woman's right to make her own reproductive health decisions. there's a few people, not very many, you can count them on one hand, who have noticed the importance of this race. Paul Singer, Robert Mercer, Sheldon Adelson, the Koch brothers, GE. And they are pouring, there's been $18 million spent in the 19th Congressional District. $18 million. And they are pouring in so much money because, as one super PAC said, so one super PAC spokesman says, Zephyr poses a special threat.
Yes. Yes.
That's the idea. You pose a special threat because these are New York City hedge funders who think they found in John Faso somebody who will do their bidding, and they don't want to have all of us, because you guys are all coming with me when we go to Congress. You know that, right? They don't want all of us in Congress fighting to overturn Citizens United, for publicly financed elections, for fully funding our education, for renewable energy, for protecting Social Security, for expanding veterans care to include dental, for expanding Medicare to include dental, for actually investing in our future. They don't want that threat. So you can make the difference in these next few hours, honestly. You're going to be out, who's going out door knocking? Yes. I got to tell you though, the reason door knocking matters in this race more than any other race. We're 3 percentage points ahead according to 2 recent polls. We started out 7 behind, and then we were 5 behind, and then we were 1 behind, and the last 2 showed that we're 3 up, and that's after they've spent all this money. And that's Republicans and independents and Democrats and Working Families Party members all saying we need something new. We need an independent fighter who's actually going to fight for us and not work for, big money interests. But the reason it's especially important, your door knocking, is because of all that money in this race. People don't know which way to turn. They just see TV ads. And when you see too many TV ads, you don't know which way to turn. So coming and saying, hey, you don't need to know everything about every candidate, but something in your heart made you say, I want to spend this Saturday fighting for our communities. That sentence alone changes people's minds. That sentence alone is why why Sarah Nicoli and I are gonna win on Tuesday. So I can't wait to work with you for the next 10 years as your Congresswoman. And I gotta tell you, somebody asked me yesterday, so are you ready for the end to be over? And you know what I said? This is just the beginning. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for door knocking. Thank you for phone calling. Thank you for winning this district. Grassroots up, old-fashioned democracy the way it's supposed to be.